Okay, so now we're going to break down actually how to do an image optimization, the checklist that you would go through. Now, I wanted to do this on my drawing board, but it's not quite working right now. So without going through all that hassle and mess, I'm just going to write it out here on a WordPad for you. I'll also give this to you guys inside of the resources, so you'll have it for future reference. First of all, the first thing that you're going to want to do, I'm going to make this larger so you guys can see it better. But the first thing that you're going to want to do, just like with any campaign, is you want to actually decide what your goal is. Because there's a lot of different goals that you can have when it comes to different forms of optimization, right? For images, maybe you want to maybe you want to bring in or have people stay on your site longer, right? Or maybe that you want more traffic. Or maybe you want, higher keyword rankings. Or more keyword rankings. Or maybe you want more social followers or social engagement. Right? So there's a lot of different goals that you can have when it comes to why you want to optimize your images. Maybe it's that, there's image packs that are showing up in the SERP results for your particular market, and you want to be seen for some of those things, right? So that could be another one too. Just increase brand awareness. So that could be another one as well. So there's lots of different goals that you can have. Just decide whatever it is, get clear on it, and then now the next thing that you're going to do is you're going to do a little analyzing of your keywords. Now, hopefully, if you've already got a business up and running, you have a list of keywords that you always go back to, and you kind of go, okay, how could we create more content around this keyword or whatever it may be, right? So you want to gather that list, look over it, and analyze for any image opportunities. And if you need to, you can always go back to Google Keyword Planner or another keyword tool and do a little bit more research to find image opportunities, right? Because after all, we want to focus on keywords for this image optimization. We want to focus on keywords that are getting image results in the search engines, right? Because something like marketing methods, some keyword like that may not be getting any searches for images at all, or have any image results popping up whatsoever. So something like that probably isn't going to be the most beneficial term for us to try and get any sort of images ranking high in the search engine results or anything like that. So that's why we want to focus on image opportunity types of keywords. So once you've done that, then you want to go ahead and select the keywords or terms you'll be focused on for the next 3 to 6 months. Just so you have a little bit of a game plan to move forward with. And then, next is getting into actually selecting your images or creating those images. Let's just say finding, creating images. And also you'll be naming all image files. After that, then you're getting into, you want to, the other point that I almost forgot is before you go through all that, if you're using digital photos that have been taken with like a digital camera, you want to go ahead and remove all the EXIF data. Now, if you're using the U plugin that I've showed you earlier, or you're using Image Optum, you can skip this extra step that I'm going to be diving into in a minute, because that already does that for you. It already removes the EXIF data. But I'm going to be showing you another manual way that you can remove the EXIF data, and then also how to turn off the geolocation for any future images if it's on your own camera. So we'll be talking about that in just a minute, but I'm just going to put remove EXIF data. And then name all image files. So those are kind of like 3 steps, but it all kind of happens at one time. Okay, next would be compressing your images, or, you know, installing your image optimizer. So that all those images can be nicely compressed, and we can keep our site speed up. Or, well, basically, so we can keep our site speed low, basically. We want the seconds to be low. Also, you can go ahead and then optimize your images. So, and you're going to be optimizing the file name, which you already should have done, and then you're going to do the image alt text plus image title, and add a caption if appropriate. Then also you're going to want to make sure that you insert it within the post at the appropriate place. So you want to have related text around that. And then finally, you want to go ahead and make sure that everything is showing up and that it's mobile friendly. So, is everything mobile friendly? And you can check that like even before you get into all these steps, because you should know for the most part whether your site is mobile friendly or whether it's not. And you know, that can come at any point up here, but just make sure that it is before you go ahead and publish everything. So that is the basic gist of everything. Outside of this, one final step that I would recommend is that if you've been blogging for a while and you haven't been paying attention to your image optimization, you need to do an image audit. Or it would be best to do an image audit of all the images on your site. And you can do this using Screaming Frog. I'm not going to be walking you through this process. I will actually, there's a whole great post that a blogger wrote that I'm just going to let you read his blog post about it, because he went very in depth in it. I don't think I could do it justice, and it would take us an extra couple hours just to cover an image audit, which I don't want to get into for this particular course. So I'm going to skip that for now, but I will give you guys the resources on how to do that so that you can do that when you get to that particular step. And finally, the very last thing is, if you are posting content on a regular basis, you're a regular blogger and you publish a lot of content, then what you want to do is create you can call it whatever you want. I just like to call it kind of basic guidelines for you want to create basic guidelines for your publishers or content creators, so they know what your new image rules are all about. So this could be, you know, where you get your images from, because remember, and we're just gonna be diving into this in the next video, but remember that we can't just rip images from anywhere and just slap them on our site, because that could be considered copyright infringement. So it is important that we get images that we are allowed to use. And if you are selling any of your products or services and you're using images in those, like an ebook or a regular book, or even like course material or things like that you're selling, we do need to be careful that we're only using images that can be reused for whatever it is that we're, you know, if we're reselling it, we have to be extremely careful that we are allowed to have reseller rights, or reuse rights, or commercial rights, where we're not going to get in trouble for having that image or any of those graphics in our content or material, because that could be a huge lawsuit that could just be devastating. And I don't want that to happen to you. I don't want it to happen to anyone. So that's why that it is a good idea to create basic rules and guidelines for anyone that's creating content on your behalf, so that they know exactly what they need to abide by to keep you safe, basically. I mean, that's about it. So create basic guidelines for your publishers or content creators so they know what your new image rules are. It's about as simple as it is, and I'm just going to save that for you guys so you can have it later. And that's your quick little, basically your 6-step process. These last two, you know, image audits will really only need to be conducted if you haven't been paying attention to your image optimization over time. So you may only need to do that once, and this should only need to be done once. So these are one-time things. I'll just put little stars beside them so you know those don't have to be done regularly. But everything else, you know, this process right here is what you're going to go through for every single image every time you insert one into a blog post. So it's really standard, very easy. Once you realize, you know, the breakdown of everything and why you need to do all this stuff, it becomes very easy and second nature. So, you know, that's kind of the whole point. If you're going to take the time to write a lengthy blog post, you got to have good images and graphics to go with it. It doesn't need to take you long. And in the next video, I'm going to show you how you can easily find images for reuse that are available for commercial reuse or whatever, that you can easily take and upload into your blog post with no problems.